saying how much I enjoyed your movie.
Thank you.
Wow.
I saw it at Sundance, and it really wowed me because it is, for people out there, they're going to hear like, high school reunion movie. I've seen this 1,000 times, but it's not something you've seen 1,000 times.
Oh, cool.
Talk a little bit about, for the two of you, where it all started from in terms of the story, and without, I obviously don't want to get into any spoilers.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
It started with the character for us, the Jack Black's character. That we were interested in a guy who's desperate and not happy with his high school past, and how that could turn into him wanting to change it for the reunion. That feeling you'll have when you go back to these reunions and you want people to see a different you than they saw in high school.
Yeah.
And we were wondering how far somebody would go to do that, and that's kind of the question that started us down the road.
That's true. I agree with all of that.
The movie has some twists and turns, if you will.
Sure.
And which is one of the reasons for me, the movie's special, and why I think people should go see it. But one of the things, without getting specific, is that it plays on the emotional truth. It doesn't shy away from what would really possibly happen if situations that take place in the film were to happen. And that's one of the reasons I really responded to the material. Was there ever any pressure to sort of, did you ever get notes from people, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah. We did. That was always really important to us, to just treat it very real and ground the whole thing. The story has kind of a comedic premise to it. He's lying to his boss. He's faking this business trip and all this stuff. But we just always set out to kind of treat it real, and it was important to us that the cast, amazing cast who are not only comedic but are great actors, and that really helps, I think, ground it and accomplish what you're saying.
The movie, you guys shot this thing, I heard, I guess, in 22 days.
Yeah.
Which, when I read that, I was, jaw on ground.
Yeah.
How the F did you make
well.
this in 22 days?
We have no idea. It was really, that was the biggest challenge by far. It was just not enough time to do it. We had to really pare the script down and just get what we needed, and the coverage of the movie was really, we had to choreograph a lot of it beforehand, so we just knew what we were doing when we got in there and didn't waste any time.
Well, the thing that's also, for people that don't know, this is your first, feature.
Yes.
Yeah. And so not only were you the pressure of making your first movie, but then trying to do it in 22 days.
That's right.
Which is...
But maybe it's better because you don't have time to even think about it.
Yeah, that is true. We didn't have
going.
time to think, and we still are not thinking. We're just kind of,
we're just here now.
Yeah. Just kind of walking through it.
If you could give yourself some advice on day one, because I'm sure you were scared out of your mind.
Yeah.
What advice would you give yourself if you could go back in time about the making of the movie?
Yeah.
Or, do you know what I mean? Like, what you learned through the process?
I think that, what would we go and say?
Get more money, more days.
Yeah, ask for more stuff.
The first thing, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe your movie's going to be good, don't worry.
Well, maybe, yeah. I mean,
I'm not ready to say that even yet.
If any, I feel like sometimes, the people who were tightening the screws were always like, oh, if you go over a certain amount of hours, you can't do this tomorrow. And now looking back, oh, we could have. You were taking advantage of our first time at this.
Right?
Maybe we would.
How long was your first cut compared to the finished film?
First cut was
4.5
hours.
No,
we didn't have enough footage to put 4 hours together.
It was like 2 hours. It wasn't too long, 2+ hours, and then we cut it down to what it is now, an hour and 35 or something like that.
Did you have a lot of deleted scenes, or you just sort of pull the air out of?
It was a lot of air pull, air
scenes.
pull out, but some scenes, yeah.
But a lot of that cutting we did before we started shooting. We knew we just had to really go, have a pared down version of it.
Okay. You obviously, this movie would not work without the cast.
Yeah.
And you guys put together a great cast.
Yeah.
Who was the tough one? Who was the one that you're like, oh my God, we have to get this person?
Well, Jack was just, we always had him in mind for it, and we just were such fans of his for so long. And Mike White was a producer, and that happened. So we got so lucky, obviously, with him.
And then once Jack Black is doing it, everybody wants to work with Jack too, so it makes it easier, to get other actors. But yeah, Jack was, we've just been huge fans and couldn't believe that he wanted to do our movie.
Well, as I said, good script.
Yeah.
Talk for both of you. Writing this thing, was it do you both, like, I've spoken to a lot of writers and they say they have like the golden hours, which is like when they wake up, they're really good for a few hours, and that's it. They can't go further.
We're good from like 11 to noon, I think.
Yeah.
That's when we do our best.
It's the golden hour for us.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about the way you guys like to work, because, you know, do you both have a similar process? Or is it one person does some stuff and one other person does more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, we do. We have a similar process. We just kind of, do it together. We
talk it all out.
Yeah, we just talk it all out. We sit across from each other. We map it through, and we spend a lot of time on every tiniest thing. And yeah, I mean, a lot of writing teams like we hear they split it up. He does one scene. We just do it all kind of.
I definitely have to
together.
ask you about premiering at Sundance.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it's like as filmmakers to have your first movie.
Yeah.
You know, and what, looking back on it now, what do you remember most about the Sundance experience?
It was a blur. I couldn't have been more nervous going into that.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just because we finished. We were working on it right up until Sundance, so we hadn't really screened the movie for anybody.
Yeah. So we didn't know what kind of response we would get.
And we heard that crowd can be difficult. We heard, expect tough questions in the Q&A, and it ended up being, I mean, it was well received, thankfully, and the Q&As weren't that tough.
Yeah.
Well, I was in that audience, and I think that one of the reasons for me is that there's a lot of twists and turns that you don't know are coming.
Right.
I'm very curious about I rewatched the trailer before coming to the junket,
Yeah.
and the trailer does a very good job of selling the movie without revealing the movie.
Good, yeah.
How involved were you guys in like offering notes on the trailer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we were involved,
Pretty involved, and IFC was nice enough to go back and forth with us a lot of times on it. And we wanted to make sure that it wasn't given away, but we wanted to imply that something, does happen here.
So we didn't want it to feel like a typical reunion movie in the way, we had to imply that something happens, but yeah.
Yeah.
My last question for you, because I gotta go. Are you guys currently writing other stuff? Are there things that are bubbling up?
Yeah. We're working on our next thing. Hopefully we'll get to do that soon. We have this article that we are adapting. And we'll see, yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna say congratulations on the movie.
Thank you so much. Oh man, thank you.
I hope you guys have I hope it's you know what I mean.
Thank you.